Welcome to the Video News Factory post-pandemic special. So we were hit like a train when the pandemic started. Within about a week, we had about 80% of our business cancelled. And I am so pleased to let you know that we are back up. We're in production this week. I've managed to open the studio single-handedly, and we had one hell of a job to do. So I'm going to guide you through the steps we took, so if you're running a similar business where customers have to come into your premises, you understand what it takes if you're going to get some good contracts. And the contract that we're working on is with a major PLC, and they are absolutely anal about what you need to show and prove. So if you're dealing with a major organization, even if you put the right signs up, you think you've done a bit of health and safety risk assessment, you will come under the cosh. And hopefully this guide will show you what it really takes to get back into business. So the story goes that we got ourselves into a situation where we were locked down. Then the government said we could open up shops and retail from the 15th onwards. And I decided I'd do a solo operation, open up my studio, my staff on furlough at the moment. So all we could do was hire our studio. And I started promoting it the week before the 15th, and we got an inquiry. Fantastic. However, the issue was that they wanted to do a site inspection. It was another film production company, and they were very happy with what I'd done. I had a good tidy up and put a lot of care into the facility, thought I got it right. And then we were hit like a train. Less than 48 hours from the shoot, their client, a major PLC, demanded that we actually provide everything together with photographic evidence, right down to the safety and security systems in the building, the power, the gas, electricity. You wouldn't believe it, but because people are so anal, they wanted everything proven. So even though we'd done a risk assessment, they said they may send a health and safety officer along, and before that they wanted to see all of that evidence, including photographs. So let me show you what we had up and running to show them. Within, I think it was less than 12 hours of getting that request, I was able to show all of the facilities and all of the things that will make a safe production. And we should be able to show you some footage of the client in action as well, because we're filming this during the day that I was able to get this client in. So, health and safety to prevent COVID starts with signage to the public and to the workers. That's the standard sign that we put on all entrances to the building and to the floor. What I normally do is give people a briefing as soon as they come into the reception area, and we then get them to sign in. On the desk, we've got our emergency procedures printed out. Those are the standard ones that we issue. Again, our general warning. We also have hand sanitizer, and obviously some people want masks because of health conditions. And a notice about limiting the spread of coronavirus. There's an extra sign here, so anybody going up the stairs, because we're on the first floor, knows that they've got to do the registration and read the documentation and sign up to our coronavirus prevention measures. So again, before entering the first floor, we've got our standard sign. Also, the client wanted us to send them pictures of our general security measures in the building because of the first time that this major PLC had sent staff here. Let me just open up the door. For every single room, we've stuck these signs up which limit the amount of people based on 2-meter social distancing. Okay, hand washing, very, very important. We get our staff to wash their hands 3 times a day. This cuts down the risk of coronavirus drastically, according to scientific research. We've put a hand wash, we've also put bleach cleaner, which people can spray on places like the fridge doors, and we get our staff and guests to try and use that to limit the spread, and put extra advice on the wall where we can about limiting the spread of coronavirus. Okay, and for every toilet that we have, we've got 4 in the building, we've mirrored everything. So they've got the hand wash, the bleach, they've also got paper towels if they need to wipe down door handles and surfaces. So we had to take photographs of all of these facilities. Simple things like the health and safety law poster that's mandatory in workplaces. Every single area that we've got the signs I mentioned. So we've got signs on the doors for social distancing. For this room here, for example, only 2 people allowed at any one time. And then as we move through, this is my main office. And actually, if you see through the window, you can see we've actually got some screens. We've got several screens we can deploy as extra protection. But we're going to sweep through and show you through the window a couple of aspects. But you can see there that we've got air circulation. So that's part of our preventative measures, so that the air is constantly being refreshed. And then on top of that, we have these beauties. These are fantastic, and we put them in every single room, including our film studio. They're ultra quiet, and they use a combination of HEPA filters, ultraviolet light, and also an ionizing plate to take out viruses from the air. And that reduces the risk and helps us work without face masks, particularly if we've got things like the partitions working in certain areas. So this is our main meeting room, which we said 4 people could use. Why we said that was because we measured up. There are little markings on the floor in 4 corners which give a 2-meter separation. On the main table we put cleaning materials, including not just a bit of hand sanitizer, but also face masks and a tape measure should they need to vary the way they use the room. Also, in terms of catering, we wanted to make sure that they were pretty much self-contained and within this room, didn't need to go up and down the corridor to our main kitchen, which they could use with safe distancing. So we put a catering layout here, coffee making, cold drinks in a fridge, and disposable cups, plus an automatic hand sanitizer. So, and also just finishing touches in terms of things like plastic spoons. So you can see that we were trying to make them as comfortable as possible, and they were extremely productive in here. They had an internet connection going out to China, together with a view of the studio. So our control desk over there was quite busy. This is the studio, access for 3 people. And the studio has 2 doors, so we put COVID warning signs and our usual hazard signs on the outside. We're in our studio, and just to show you some of the things that we did, we put markings down on the floor measuring 2 meters in various directions and sized the room so that we could have up to 3 people. So over here you've got some markings down here. Sorry, the studio's just been trashed by our client. But you can see the care that we put into putting the right distance in the studio. And then this device over here is a brilliant air filtration system. It's HEPA filter, ultraviolet, and also it uses an ion plate to remove virus particles from the air. And then apart from that, we had all of the usual warning signs. Have these up anyway on risks on electrical shocks and trip hazards, but also on both of the doors we put the maximum capacity with warnings that nobody was allowed in here without a technician. So that's the sort of care that we took. However, there's one more thing I want to show you that we had to put up, and all businesses have to, and something I didn't realize I had to do, but the client actually sent us as a check. So to actually get through the risk assessment, we had to send them staff handbooks. We had to send them the risk assessment for the building, the COVID risk assessment, and photographs. And one of the photographs they really wanted was this one, which is Staying COVID-19 Secure. It's a government signed form that you need to put up on the wall, and it confirms that you've taken all the reasonable steps. You've done your COVID risk assessment. You've made sure people are 2 meters apart. You know, essentially, you're signing a big commitment as a director with your contact details. That's what we had to do. All of that went to the client 24 hours before the shoot. They had a proper meeting. We had to wait with bated breath for, I think, 2.5 hours, and then they gave their assent for the shoot to go ahead. So if you're a film studio, if you're doing business meetings and you're dealing with major clients, then get ready to go through all of those steps, and then you can open up with a surety. If you don't, then there's a big danger that you'll get a phone call like the one I got, and you'll be put through the hoops, and if you fail, then your client will not arrive. They will not take the risk of going to your office. So I hope that was helpful. If you need to hire a studio yourself, especially if you're a videographer, then we're open, and we've got some of the best risk assessment and services that you'll find. In fact, I've got a video for you to watch from the client that I've worked with in my studio today. So maybe you take a look at that. Will convince you that this is the #1 place in Milton Keynes to hire for video production.